we're back in the flower shop here today at Pure and Far with the lovely Caroline from Flowers on the Mill. You may have seen last time she showed us how to arrange or put together a few different arrangements for some smaller vessels that were beautiful for a bedside table or on a sideboard or a console. But today, this is what I love the most. We're going to create some of the most amazing large feature arrangements that you can put in the middle of a large dining table or as a feature or a big statement on a sideboard, just that real eye-drawing, capturing piece. So Caroline's again fantastic at this, so I'd love for her to show you how she puts these arrangements together. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you. Alrighty. Here we go. So I'm going to start off with this one, with this grapevine. I always love a little bit of a trail to start with, and I find that this piece, it gives me a bit of a cushion to work with when I start sticking all of the other stems in. So I'll start with these few. Yeah, and I sort of push it down a little bit, and as we go, it'll sort of anchor it in.
I forgot to mention too, so this piece that we're using here is a beautiful old rustic milk pot from India, or an oil pot. Right. So they're all one of a kind.
Okay, I'm going to put a few proteas in next, and that will really anchor down that grapevine. So at the moment, I'm not too worried about the shape. I'm more concerned about just making sure it's a structure that's not going to fall out. And so I'm sort of envisioning this arrangement to be quite textured, lots of different greens, and then we'll add a bit of spring colour. Okay. I might start adding in another texture now. And just filling it out a little bit more. And I might add this one in and just sit it just above the proteas. And I'm sort of just feeling my way in with the stem because it's all intertwined, all of the different stems. So I'm just making sure that it's nice and secure in there. Just like that. Alrighty, what else do we have to work with?
Oh, I love these.
Yeah, they're pretty, aren't they? And they're nice just how they fall. I wouldn't want to put them, I don't want to make them too claustrophobic in there. I want to make sure that they've got a lot of room and a lot of air to play with. I'm going to bring this down quite low, just for another texture as well. We're just going to keep on building on the textures now. Getting full. And with these stems, you can really bend them and manipulate them, and make sure they work with you and work with the shape you're trying to create. Alright, I just added the pop of wattle coming through the front there. And I might do the same at the back. Alright, now I'm going to start working with the hydrangea, another colour that we're going to introduce. So it's going to start being much more spring colourful and fun. And I'm not going to group these flowers as much. It's going to just be going everywhere that I can see that's got a little bit of a gap, or everywhere that doesn't have a focal flower. I'll twist it around just so you can have a look. Okay, now a little bit more colour. think this might be the last pop of colour I use. I'll just twist it around to the front. Very, very wild. Okay, I think that's...
Wow.
There we go. I think that one's done.
Wow, beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You'll need a big space for this one, but
Yeah.
yeah, it works well.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to our next vessel, which is our Indian oil pot. And Caroline's got a few stems already prepared for this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with on this one.
Thanks, Tara. Okay, so for this arrangement, I'm thinking burnt oranges and sort of earthy tones. So I'm going to start with this beautiful, focal, interesting trailing piece, and have it sort of trailing down the front. And again, it probably won't feel secure as you're putting it in there because it's the first thing. You'll keep on building on it from here.
And using this, I think, is really interesting because it's sort of like a dried bracken almost, and it's not traditionally something that you would see as including in an arrangement, or something that's not really that beautiful. So the way that Caroline always mixes these pieces into her arrangements is always so intriguing because it's just adding that extra layer of interest and showing how, you know, foraged items and all of these kinds of dried pieces can also add so much interest to the arrangement.
I love it. I think it's so beautiful. Even just on its own in this pot, it looks really terrific. But I'm going to keep on adding from here. So I'm going to start adding in the Banksia in a similar colourway. So we're moving on to more of an apricot colour, but in the same sort of tones. Okay. I'm going to keep on twisting the stems so it fits in nicer. I quite like how there's quite a bit of air coming through this stem, so I'm going to keep it tall and just let it sit quite naturally.
So you don't really want it standing too upright.
Don't want it standing upright. I want it to sit coming off on an angle. I'll turn it around in a second so you can have a look. Where am I going with this one? Yeah, that'll work. And again, with the fake flowers, you can sort of twist and bend the stems to make them work for you. Okay. So already I can see that there's a big gap in the middle that we need to start filling out. So I might use our peonies. And really start filling out. It's almost like colouring in. I've created a structure and a shape, and now I want to just start adding the flowers to that shape. And at the same time, I'm really mindful that I want to make sure that the pot's still on display because it is a really beautiful piece. I'm just colouring in where I feel like there's some gaps in the arrangement. And making more focal pieces. We're starting to get nice and full in there. And it's just a matter of just adding, building up the arrangement until you're happy with it and you don't feel like there's any spaces left.
So are you doing this one as just a front side?
Just as a
one
front
side?
one. And so this would work quite well on a side table.
Yes.
What do you think? I'm happy with that one.
Yeah, that's beautiful. again, a nice combination of colours, all of those deep reds and the peachy sort of pinks and things.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah.
We are.
There's another one done. So yeah, a couple of different ways. So we had the 360-degree arrangement, and then we've got the single-sided one for a side table or a console. Both of them equally amazing. Thank you so much, Caroline, for coming in and doing this for us today. And we can't wait to dress up the store today with more and more of these beautiful installations and arrangements. Thank you, Caroline.
Thanks, it's been fun.
Yeah.